All right, guys, and we are live, and welcome to another episode of Foreign and Domestic. And we appreciate each and every one of you guys showing up. Looks like the chat room is blowing up pretty good. So before we go anywhere, in normal fashion, we'll jump over to man himself, Alan B. Pro, to run through the side chat. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I am doing absolutely excellent. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for showing up. Thank you, 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 thank you. I'm pretty sure I missed a few people, but right about now, the participants list is listing as BEM Tactical. Daniel God is my judge. Fred Not, Keith Gregory out there, Savage Survival, SKS. You go out there, Stealth Hunter 1000, Twisted Metals of Texas, Vanessa Kitty, Vosh Matrix, Walter Davis. That's the participants list, but I know we've got ourselves also Vborg is out there, Thomas Pickering, roosted roasted films. I will always mispronounce it wrong on purpose. But as of currently, that is the participation list out in the side chat.
Awesome, good deal. We have a special guest tonight, but before we get to the special guest, let's run through the rest of the room. We will start with Chico Wise from the Dirty South.
Hey guys, on the panel in the side chat, thanks for being here. We got 25 already. That's awesome. Guys, thanks for being here. I'm excited being here always. So thanks for being here. I'm sure we're gonna have an awesome chat tonight.
Awesome, man. Good to have you. And Jamie, what you got, brother?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Nice to see everybody out in the side chat. There's some familiar names out there to us. We have a lot of them hang out with us on Friday night, so glad to see y'all back. Thanks for having me. Hope you feel better, brother.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Phil M. Rivers, what you got, man?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me. I appreciate being here. Thanks to everybody coming out and supporting the chat. And like I said, just happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Good to have you. And our special guest tonight is the one, the only Modern Mountain Man. How you doing, brother?
Doing very well. Good to be with you guys tonight. Really excited to be a part of this chat.
Awesome, man. We're glad to have you. I'm glad you could show up. I hit you up a couple hours ago, so I know it's kind of short notice, but glad you could be here. So kind of introduce yourself to those that don't know who you are, what you do. I know you just got a book publishing coming out as well. If you want to throw that out there, please do so.
Absolutely. All right, so my channel is Modern Mountain Man. I live in the mountains of Southwest Virginia. So my day job, I'm actually a pastor, and then a couple other little side hustles here and there. But I love guns. I love outdoors and hunting and all that good stuff. I've been doing the YouTube thing for about a year and a half now. I started off just opened my channel up just to ask people their opinions and questions about a revolver that I was interested in, and then just got really to where I enjoyed making videos and building guns and all kinds of stuff like that. So love doing the YouTube thing. My channel tends to be anything from gun stuff to like outdoor cooking type stuff to every now and then I do what we call a Man Stuff Monday, where I just talk about man things. When I look at my YouTube analytics, my audience is 100% male. So hey, I know there's a few ladies out there subscribe, but I guess they're lost in the wash of the math there. But yeah, Scotsman mentioned I've got a book coming out. I've got a book. It should be out sometime in the next few months here, called "Take the Mountain." It's actually a story about the biblical character Caleb, and how just the process of his life, how he got to be 80 years old, 85 years old, and was at a place in his life where he was still willing, able, and strong, prepared to take a mountain that was full of giants, and said, you know, I'm 85, I'm as strong and as fit and as prepared as I was when I was 40. Let's take this mountain. And for me, the term "take the mountain," I believe all of us have a goal and a purpose in our life that you've been uniquely wired for and designed for. And I want to take my mountain, and I want to see you guys take your mountain as well.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely freaking awesome, man. When you mentioned that you had your book publishing coming out, that was exciting when I saw that. Very, very exciting, man.
Yeah.
So, do you have an actual release date yet, or do you know?
An actual release date. So right now I'm the holdup. So we're at the phase where they've given me my proof copy back, and now I need to read through the proof copy and make sure they didn't mess up something I said. Like they said it, my editor may have edited it to mean something else, and so I'm actually reading through the proof copy. My life is going about 100 miles an hour right now, and it's going to slam on brakes in a few weeks here, and so I'm going to actually get time to read my own book and get it back to the publisher and get it out. So it might end up being a beginning of the year release date. So we'll see.
Gotcha. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad it's in the works. I'm glad it's rocking and rolling.
Absolutely.
You have some other things going on too. You got some experimental rounds. And that is one of the reasons I wanted to have you on tonight, is not only because of your book publishing, which is freaking awesome, but you're doing some experimental rounds. So let's start with the 375 Stalker.
Yeah. So some of you guys who have followed me for a while, you guys remember one of my very first gun projects was the Frankenwolf, the 50 Beowulf Frankenstein rifle. And what was neat about that was just grab parts from all over. Where I live 5 miles away from the Alexander Arms facility. And so being able to make a Beowulf, they were the ones who invented the Beowulf, whatnot, and doing it without actually using any Alexander Arms parts, which is kind of fun, seeing I live right across the street from them, basically. But I used a Saturn barrel in the process there, and when I made that video, the 50 Beowulf video ended up being the #1 trending Beowulf build video for like a real long time. And that just kind of, some of the companies that were involved in that build were pretty happy about that. And but one of them particularly was Saturn Barrels, and I ended up like becoming friends with Steve Saturn, as well as the guy who makes the bolts over at Maxim Arms, Frank Spatino, and so they ended up hitting me up about this project that they've got coming up with 375 Stalker. Essentially, what the Stalker is imagine if the 300 Blackout and the 458 SOCOM had a baby together. More or less, it's you know how when we very first started doing 300 Blackouts, we were getting like the little Harbor Freight saw and the jig, and we were chopping the 223 or 556 brass. It's kind of the same exact concept, except for now we're chopping 308 brass. So you're chopping 308 brass or anything that's from the 308 30-06 family. So it could be 243 or various other things, the 6.5 Creedmoor, whatever. You can chop it down to this length, and you shove a 375 caliber pill in there. And so it's basically like the Blackout on steroids, or a 458 SOCOM with a way better ballistic coefficient. And so been having fun, just kind of playing around, learning what kind of components I could add to this, because it's my Stalker it's the first one on YouTube. There's a few other guys out there that they sent barrels to that are experimenting with it, but really it came from that relationship with Saturn Barrels. Like so when I backtrack a little bit, when I made the 50 Beowulf, one of the reasons why I didn't have a whole lot of shooting videos with the Beowulf come out immediately after I did the build video was I was actually having a problem with it where it wasn't ejecting the shells correctly. Later on, I found out that actually had to do with Alexander Arms brass that I was using. But so I ended up talking to them a bunch, because I didn't want to release a video just burning them for their products not working correctly. And so ended up in that conversation with them, I found out what the real problem was able to fix it, and the Beowulf works great now. I'm actually going to do a video in a few weeks here about a deer that I shot with the Beowulf a couple weeks ago, where it absolutely destroyed that deer's shoulder.
So when you're talking about
with Saturn Arms, they Saturn Barrels, that's just struck up conversation. They're like, hey, what if we send you this barrel and you can just kick it around a little bit and let us know what you think? And so really excited about this round's potential. Some of the guys who are involved in the building of this round and kind of deciding, case length and shoulder angle and stuff like that, they were some of the same people who were in helping fix some of the things about the blackout and also the SOCOM. And all those people that were involved in those other two projects are looking at this new project saying that this gun has potential to exceed both of them.
So when you're talking about cutting the brass, how are you exactly cutting the brass? And number two, follow-up question to that too, and I'm sure these guys have questions on this as well. But the die setup, how's the die setup? Because obviously they had to make a whole brand new die or some sort.
So with cutting the brass, so I've actually got a video on that as well on my channel. But I've got a polymer jig. There's a company it's called 3D Reloading, and the guy basically, it's a home company. He and his son have one of those polymer 3D printers, and he makes just parts for reloading. So it's everything from cutting jigs to little things that you would put underneath your brass trimmer to catch all the brass trimmings, and a lot of neat little odds and ends for reloading. Well, anyway, he got wind of this new cartridge. He's like, well, I'm going to jump on this real quick. And he made an actual cutting jig to where you put it in the vise in one of those little 2-inch Harbor Freight saws. And so I just take a 308 case, put it in the jig, chop it. Then I, chamfer it and then you run it down with the cutting jig just to make sure it's even. And then as far as the die setup, the set of dies that I have, basically Steve made them himself. Just they're like sort of homebrew dies that he made himself. Since that time, Hornady has picked it up, and the Hornady is making dies for it as well now.
Nice, very nice.
And right now, if you want a 375 Stalker, Saturn Barrels is the only one making it right now. So
cool. We had a few people jump in. We'll start with Josh Benware, since he's not green and stripy and purple right now. So what's going on, man?
I don't know. I just got on here. I have no clue. I was late, so I was just jumping in. I just heard that somebody wrote a book and was making new cartridges and shit. So I was like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but that sounds badass.
So this is Modern Mountain Man. He's a real cool dude. He's been around for a long time, but yeah, he's got a book coming up. Hopefully, but at this point, probably next year. Beginning of next year. But he's working on some experimental runs with other companies too, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
sweet.
I'll show you something real quick, just for example. Got a couple different mags here with different rounds in it. So this is the Beowulf, and you see how it's sort of single stacking in there because it's so full. And then here's your typical AR-15 and how it double stacks. What's neat with the Stalker, it'd kind of be what I would call stacking in 1.5. It's not quite a double stack. It's not quite a single stack, but it's kind of like staggered a little bit more. And,
so real quick, you got a couple questions out there. Is this based off an AR-10 rifle round? Or is it running off the AR platform bumped up from a 300 Blackout?
Yeah, so basically it's in the AR-15 platform. So you're cutting the brass down short enough that it's fitting into AR-15 style. As far as magazines, we're using like the 6.8 SPS mags, just because the when you try to put it into 223, it's not quite holding it, like it's kind of squirting out the top because of like the way it's stacking in half, and it's not quite like the Beowulf where it's filling the lips of the mag up. And so the 6.8 SPC mags tend to work the best for this so far. But yeah, but definitely it's it's definitely in the AR-15 platform. It's not an AR-10. So you are taking 308 brass, but you're cutting it back to a length that would fit in, case overall length and cartridge overall length rather would go in the AR-15.
All right, good deal. We got Insight Freedom. What's going on, brother?
Well, like I told you when we talked earlier, I just made it in, so wanted to join in. Good to see Modern Mountain Man just up the road there. I picked the right time to jump in so I could catch up on all of that stuff. Been missing you around here, but I know you've had a lot on your plate, so
yeah.
Stuff, and I'm really looking forward to that new round. Might hold off on my next build until you kind of come around with that one. So
absolutely.
Good to see everybody here, and good to see everybody in side chat.
Awesome. We do have another question out there. What is the effective distance for that round?
Yeah, and so right now I'm still doing a lot of my own initial testing of it. From the other guys that I'm hearing from, they're saying it's going to be real effective out to like 300 to 400 yards. So because like I said, once again, you're basically looking at something that's going to have way more case capacity than your 300 blackout, because it's a much thicker case, but it's also going to have a better ballistic coefficient than your 458 SOCOM. So it's going to be able to stretch out a little farther than your SOCOM would. So basically, like I said, probably the easiest way I know how to explain it to people is it's a 300 blackout on steroids.
What's the experimental grain range that you're working with on that?
So the ones that I'm playing with, I'm mainly working with some 200 and 220 grain ones. Okay. But I know Frank is working on some subsonic rounds, and so he's looking at some 300 and 400.
Nice
grain guys. So yeah.
What powder are you using? Are you using a Magnum primer or a regular primer?
So I'm using the same primer you'd use for your 308 brass. So the large rifle primer. And then as far as my powder right now, I'm using a lot of Little Gun, which is cool because that's the same powder I'm using for my Beowulf. So now I'm just going to buy jugs and jugs of Little Gun.
So, could I ask a question? So, being that that's a experimental rifle, no one at this moment is making the brass. I mean, nobody's manufacturing the brass. It's all going to be made like trim, custom brass that you got to either make yourself or trim yourself, right?
So that they're in conversation right now with Starline. So Starline might start producing the brass. Actually, I got to connect with one of the guys at Starline because of this project. He hit me up, and he was the one who actually told me about the 3D jigs. But right now, yeah, it's basically make your own brass. But like I said, one of the nice things about it is anything in the 308 family, you can cut down and make it so like you just go to the range one day and pick up some 308, some 30-06, some 243, and just take it all, throw it in your process and cut it, and you're good to go.
Cool. Good deal.
We have another question out in the side chat. Side chat's asking what the general purpose for this round is going to end up being.
Yeah, so I think their primary focus is hunting with it. I don't know whether they're going to try to parlay it into a military application or not, but they're definitely looking to have a round that's good for hunting and like I said, both in the subsonic and the supersonic. So,
well, as you discovered with that 50 Beowulf, you might end up destroying more of your meat than anything else. Modern Mountain Man has a great channel. His videos are super entertaining, and it also has a great Instagram. And so you took a deer with the Beowulf, and what happened?
So I obliterated one of its shoulders. It was a shot where the deer just really crested over a hill, and I had like a small window of opportunity to shoot it, so I didn't get a real clean broadside shot, and I hit it right in the shoulder, and you can see the entrance wound, and then I flipped the shoulder over like a wet noodle, and you see the exit wound come out of the shoulder back into the chest cavity, And then on my video, I'll show you some more photos of it when I get that video together. It comes out of the chest and comes out its gut pocket, and like just, I mean, practically half the gutting job was done when I got to the buck. So it put a good job on it. So my main purpose in the Beowulf was when I'm up here hunting in the mountains, I want to make sure if I hit a buck or if I hit a bear, I'm not having to track it all over the place. Just put it down, and we'll try to get off the mountain with it. I have a buddy of mine who just got a damage permit to kill a bear that has been eating his goats, and he asked could he borrow the Beowulf, and so I may tag along with him and video him shooting this bear with my Beowulf. So that would be super cool if I can get that on film.
Yeah, that 50 Beowulf build, I was hooked watching that, and that thing is an absolute beast.
It's a monster.
We do have a question out there: 458 SOCOM versus 50 Beowulf.
Yeah. So when I was wrestling between the SOCOM and the Beowulf, honestly, when it comes down to it, I don't think whatever you shoot with it is going to be able to tell the difference. So your big advantage with the 458 SOCOM is there's a wider spectrum of projectiles that you could use for reloading. But then the argument against that is, with a 400 grain bullet, how many different varieties of bullets do you actually need? You know, the other advantage with the 458 SOCOM is there's more suppressors out there if you want to shoot suppressed. So there's that. With the Beowulf, it's a straight walled case, which for some states, a straight walled case, you can hunt with a straight walled case, and you can't hunt with a neck cartridge. And so that's an advantage there. Honestly, I went Beowulf just because I thought it was cool to have a 50, and I live down the street from the place that makes it. But like I said, ballistically, they're pretty similar, and you know, the difference between a 50 caliber bullet versus a 458 bullet hitting meat, I don't think you're going to be able to tell too much difference. I've seen a lot of comparison videos online, and I couldn't tell the difference.
Well, here in Iowa, that is the case. We can't hunt with anything that's neck down. So 50 is definitely one of those ones that is intriguing me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alabama 2AS is saying that the Beowulf carries more energy.
Yeah. And more or less what the Beowulf is, it's almost the same exact cartridge as the 500 Smith & Wesson, just a difference in the head. Like one's rimmed and the other one's rimless. So.
All right. So anyone on the panel have a question for Modern Mountain Man while we have him here? And it is a pleasure to have him here.
Pleasure to be here.
We have a lot of people here on the panel, so you guys got questions, fire them off one by one. We'll start with Chico.
Yeah, okay, so I know this is an obvious question because you're talking about experimental rifles and loads. So how long have you been reloading, and what was your first cartridge you reloaded and why? That's a double-part question.
I've been reloading really only for about 2 years or so, and my first cartridge start reloading was 223, and mainly it was because I knew I was going to start reloading for 50 Beowulf, and I wanted to practice on something a little more common and something not quite as devastating, and so I was kind of working my way up to it. So it's not that 223 ammo is very expensive. I thought it was just a good practice ammo to play around with. And so they worked my way up to my Beowulf, and now I'm working with Stalker, and pretty soon here I'll probably start working with some 9mm. I just picked up a Jericho this week. So,
well, we do have a request out in the side chat to show sizes of the different rounds that you're predominantly speaking about tonight.
Okay.
We also have another question out there while you're grabbing rounds. We have a question of what is your favorite beer?
my favorite beer. So I'm not a real big drinker. So I'm not a very authoritative voice on favorites, but you know, anytime I have, it's been more of like dark beers. But coffee, on the other hand, I could talk all day about coffee.
No, you're good, man. Dark beers, you passed the test. You're good. You can stay here. We're not going to kick you off.
No, yeah, it wasn't Busch Light. So.
No, I live near a lot of college students, so I do see a lot of cheap beer from time to time, but not going there.
All right. Well, go ahead and show the Rons, man. Show the difference.
All right. So this is your Beowulf right here. So like I said, once again, it's a straight wall. You'll notice back here it's a rebated rim though. The rim is going to be smaller than the actual case itself. So the on the Beowulf, the rim would be very much similar to like the kind of cartridges you would shoot in the AK-47 or whatnot. So that's sort of where they borrowed that from. It's almost to the point where when you like the AR mutants or whatever, where you've got they're shooting the 7.62 stuff. You can almost swap the bolts, but they're not exactly the same. They're just slightly different, but they're very close. But like I said, it's a straight walled case, rebated rim, 50 caliber bullet, lots of devastation. Like I said, you can they're like poly rounds that you can shoot that are like in the 100 grain range. Those are like the very lightest, but I mean it travels all the way up to 500-600 grain bullets, you know. But the most common tend to live somewhere between 250 and 450. So lot of weight coming your way, a lot of energy. Then this here would be the Stalker. Like I said, it really just looks like a fat Blackout. If you were able to see the stamp on it, it says 308 because it originally started off life as a 308. You basically when you're cutting it, you're more or less cutting the 308 right where the shoulder starts, and then shove it up into the resizing die, and it adds this new shoulder to it. And then there's a 200 grain 375 bullet right there in it. So those are those two rounds.
All right, very cool. We do have a question, and the question out there, we'll just go ahead and call a gun check because the question is what is your carry sidearm? So we'll start with you, and then we'll go from there.
All right. So this is Jericho 941. This one is actually Israeli military surplus. Like this one has fought the terrorist at some point in time. But just got this one this week. So getting into the semi-auto game, I've always been more of a revolver guy myself. And that may be why I lean more towards the double action, single action when I got the semi here. But so I kind of joke that my Jericho, if you guys know much about Jerichos, they're basically more or less a CZ75 clone. You know how when you get vaccines, you get inoculated, they give you a little bit of the virus, but not enough to catch the virus. This is my CZ virus vaccine.
All right. With that, we'll move on and we'll go to Jamie. What you got, brother? I know what you got, but for everyone else out there, what you got?
I have the CZ75 BD tonight.
Very nice. Very nice.
To fit in with Modern Mountain Man's Jericho. Very similar, don't you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very fitting indeed. Very fitting indeed. And I know we're on a kick already, so we'll go to Chico Wise. I know what Chico Wise has got on him.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, this is weird, too, because I've been carrying appendix for the last 2 weeks, man, because I've been tearing my seat up. I'm carrying CZP07. Y'all know this is the Dirty South Black Edition. These are very rare. So that's what I'm carrying, man. Carrying in my Mid-Atlantic West holster, I'm carrying appendix. That's weird for me, too, so.
Yeah, Mid-Atlantic be turning out some good stuff, but I don't know about that whole appendix, man. I don't I just can't do it personally. It's just a personal taste thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of a gun pointing up my my junk, but Hey, to each their own, man. If you want to point one at your junk, go ahead, man. Go for it. All you. Insight, what you got, brother?
Yeah, I feel like I'm breaking the chain here, but I've got a SIG X carry. This is week 4, and it's EDC for a month now. So
that's all right, man. I'm gonna break the chain too. I'm carrying my my Model 60 in the newest holster from Harry's Holsters. And this is not a plug. I'm just letting you know that Harry sent this to me. Harry's Holsters. Harrison sent this to me to try out, and I've been wearing this for the last couple of days, and I will tell you, I'm very impressed with this thing so far. If you follow me on Instagram, you already saw that. But this thing has a leather look to it. It is Kydex. And I'll do my initial review at the end of the week here, and then in a month, I'll do my full review on it. But right off the bat, I will tell you, I'm very, very impressed with this thing so far.
Well, I'm glad that they sent you one that matches the back of your underwear.
Hey, you know what, man? This thing is rock solid, and again, I'm super impressed with it. I really am, and that's no joke. When it comes to my revolvers, I'm very, very picky about holsters, and I've been carrying this thing probably for the last 2 years in a leather holster. I got this thing from Harry, and I kid you not, the minute I put it in the holster and I sit in my waistband, I'm like, without leather holster. I kid you not, man.
Wow.
Big, huge difference. And I'll go through this in the video that I'll make, but I will kid you not, it's probably about a ½ inch less in diameter. So it's not as thick as the leather holster is. It's probably about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch shorter than a leather holster was. And the actual clip that he has on there actually has a nice hook on it. So it actually hooks on your belt versus just sits on your belt. So there's a lot of nice features, but on top of that, there's a very nice audible click. It locks in solid, and when I draw, instead of me having to kind of push the holster down as I draw, all I got to do is grab my gun and pull my gun. With that leather holster, I literally had to push on the leather holster and draw the gun at the same time because it wanted to come out as I pulled on the gun. So big difference. But I'll make that video here at the end of the week, the initial review, and then we'll do the full-blown review after about a month or so. But so far, very, very impressed with it. Very, very cool. Phil, what are you carrying, man? What you got?
Well, I'm not carrying it, but I'm in my home, so I have the CZP 10C, and that's my home defense gun. And my Walther PPS M2 is on its way back to Walther right now, so I won't tell you what I'm carrying.
We'll leave that alone, and we'll move over to Alan. What you got, man?
Well, I've had a thing for the grays as of late. So the P07 Urban Gray is the daily carry. That's the one that's residing in the waistband. But I did actually end up getting an optic for the Gray Ghost. Picked me up just a Sig Sauer Romeo 5 and dropped it on there. Just got this thing in, so I haven't been able to zero it or anything, but that's exactly the size that I need for this little home defense pistol.
Very cool. Very cool. So do you see any other experimental rounds coming up in the future?
Well, I know there's some guys that are always playing with new rounds, and I guess if this goes well, they may hit me up for some more stuff. Well, one of the things that I'm learning, like as I'm connecting more with some of these people in the industry, is that there's people that are good at producing things, and there are people that are good at marketing things, and sometimes they aren't the same people. And I'm learning, like, these guys have produced a really good product, and they're looking for people to help them market it. And so I'm excited to see what else they churn out in the future. But you know, like they've done a good job building some other barrels. Like I said, my Beowulf barrel is, I mean, for such a big bore thing, it's shooting really accurate. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether they push the limits on this, or whether this is their whether this is their experimental round and it's going to be like their little, you know, flag in the sand. This is us. We made this. So we'll see.
Do you have any preliminary ballistics on that round as of yet?
So I've got some that some of the other guys that are working on it have sent. I'm still actually I haven't put mine together yet. I've got it all mocked up. Because hunting season came and I didn't get to do last hunting season with the Beowulf because of the issues that I was having with it. I've been kind of giving all my hunting love to the Beowulf lately. But I've got a video that I'm going to do pretty soon where Stinger sent me a handguard for this build. So I'm going to do a video for that Stinger handguard, and after I do that video, I'm going to build the gun and start shooting it a bunch. But like the main ballistics I have were ones that I was sent from someone else. And actually, I can pull those up real quick. Yeah, so this guy who was shooting the hot core stuff, it was some 235 grain Speer hot core with his little gun. I mean, he was pushing it anywhere from 1261 feet per second all the way to 1818, depending on which grainage he was using. And so when you're talking a 235 grain bullet moving at 1818, you're talking 1771 foot-pounds of pressure. So it's pretty cool stuff. Let's see what the list he sent me.
Real quick, can you throw a comment out there? There's a lot of people that are asking questions, and I think it'd be good if you throw out your name out there again so they can jump over, check your channel out, and kind of go from there. But there's a few people out there. What state are you in?
So I'm in the southwest part of the state of Virginia.
And then we have a few other questions out there. What's it compared to 6.8 SPC and 450 Bushmaster?
Yeah, so like I said, with these ones, that 375 caliber is just going to have a way better ballistic coefficient. With a lot of times with your 458 and your 50 Beowulf and your 450 Bushmaster, all them, you're shooting pistol bullets with a rifle barrel and rifle powder behind it, and so whereas the 375, you're actually shooting bullets that were designed for rifles, and so it's just gonna have a better ballistic coefficient. I know the guys over at Tromix have actually discovered this as well, and Tromix is now experimenting with the 375. So they're doing a 375 SOCOM, which is basically they're just taking the same SOCOM brass and necking it down to 375. And so, just like I said, gonna be a better ballistic coefficient as far as being able to stretch out a little bit further and doing stuff like that.
Very cool. So we got almost 60 people watching right now. So while we have so many people watching, you want to go ahead and talk about your book a little bit more and explain what that's all about and kind of where you're at in the process. I know you mentioned it in the beginning of the chat, but go ahead and kind of let people know what's going on, where you started with that, why you did it, where you're at in the process, and what's happening going in the future.
Absolutely. So I've got a book that's coming out soon called Take the Mountain. If you subscribe to my channel, watching my videos, I always end it with saying, God bless you and go take your mountain. And more or less, the book is about the biblical character Caleb. There's a story in the Bible where Caleb, he was one of the original spies that was sent in to spy out the promised land, but wasn't able to go into the promised land until 40 years later. And while he was there 40 years prior, he saw a mountain. He's like, that's my home. That's where I'm going to live. That's where I'm going to raise my kids. That's territory that God has given to me. Well, because of other people's choices, he spends the next 45 years wandering in the wilderness, fighting other people's battles. And here he is, 85 years old. And he comes to his friend Joshua and says, Joshua, I'm just as prepared. I'm ready for war. I love this one line is the best, some of the best trash talking in the Bible. He goes, I'm fit for going into battle and coming back. Like I'm not going into battle and I'm dying, you know? And so he was a prepared man. So my big question was, how was this guy 85 years old and still ready? What was the process that got him to a place where he said, I'm going to conquer a mountain? And, you know, when that particular mountain had been inhabited by the people that were living there for centuries, and nobody had ever been able to take that mountain over. And so he takes that mountain. It becomes his land, his territory. And so more or less the concept of the book, Take the Mountain, is this. I believe you and I, we're all wired uniquely to take some mountain, whether it's an actual physical mountain or just something that's in your life that you were wired to accomplish with your life. And the book is just really encouragement of, you know, what's your personal mountain? How can you take it? Where I'm at in the process of the book, all of the writing end of it is done. It's gone to the publishers. Their editors and pseudo ghostwriters have spent time with it. They've sent it back to me. I've got the manuscript, and so I'm reading through it to make sure they didn't change my words to say something other than what I meant. And then I'll send it back to them. We'll do cover art and we'll sell it. But that's about where we're at right there. I was really hoping they were going to get that copy back to me this summer, because that's when I actually have time. They got it back to me right in the busiest time of the year for me. And so like, I've barely gotten to read my own book. But I've got some free time coming up here pretty soon, and I'll get that done and get that back to them. And hopefully, like I said, my aim now is to get it published at the first of the year.
So what made you want to write a book, and what drew you in this direction?
Yeah. So, actually this publishing company had hit me up in the past, and they were interested in getting me to write a book for them. And at that point in time, I didn't feel like I had a book in me. I want to write a book one day, but I didn't feel at that point I had a book in me. Like some of the stuff that I was putting out there, whether it was, you know, videos or you know, my day job as I'm a pastor, sermons, didn't feel like any of it was like book ready. But basically just really start studying this character Caleb for a sermon that I preached at my church, and more or less just fell in love with the story and just the adventure of it all, that of him taking that mountain. And so that's kind of how I came to that point that I wrote about this particular character. And after I kind of had spent some time with the character, did a little bit of writing, just really looked at it and said, this feels like a book. And then I sent it to the publishing company. They got really, really excited about it. And so they ran full speed ahead with it. So that's how I got to that point with that particular character, and why this was the time, and why I'm writing the book now.
So what's next? Do you have another book in you? You have another character or someone else that you may have that you want to talk about and go forward with?
Yeah. So that's kind of I'm kind of waiting to pull the trigger on anything like that until after this first process is over. So like, I want to make sure this is something I want to do again, you know, kind of a deal. But I feel like, yeah, there'll probably be more books to come after this, and more just whether, like I said, vlog, product, whatever. But I feel like there'll be more to come for sure. But what it is, I don't know.
Awesome, man. I'll have to hit you up and find out what your publishing company is.
Absolutely.
I won't go into too much detail, but I do have a book that is written and needs to be published, but we'll leave it at that.
Well, the company I'm working with is a pretty neat company, where basically, even if you don't have any writing skills, if you can like record yourself talking, they can turn it into a book.
I have it written. I just need to find a publisher and
okay.
kind of get it on the works.
Yeah, but Scotsman, I don't really think that we need another book about cheap women and brown liquor, or brown women and cheap liquor, whichever.
I'll give you a breakdown since you're gonna be a jackass. But basically, for those of you guys that know me, I'm in martial arts. I've been in martial arts for many, many years, and with that comes philosophy.
Okay.
And so, my book that I wrote is philosophy based, and it's called Bridge to Bushido.
Okay.
And basically, what it is, it's a breakdown for those that cannot understand the 7 virtues of a samurai and everything else that's included in that. And I broke it down in various write-ins and made it into a book.
Very cool. Very cool.
But you know, I got to find a publisher and actually, kind
of. So, Modern Mountain Man, you vaguely touched on it. What got you started doing YouTube?
So, originally, my very first video, it's just me holding my cell phone up like this, talking to YouTube. But I've got this goal of my son Elijah. He's 5 years old, and I want to do like this coming of age project with him, where we get him his first rifle, but he just doesn't get it given to him. He has to earn it. He has to earn some man points, you know, and level up to it. And my goal is I'm going to buy he and I a matching pair of Henry rifles. I'm going to buy him the Henry Golden Boy, and I'm going to get the Henry Big Boy. And so like the Henry Golden Boy is a 22. The Henry Big Boy shoots Magnum caliber, you know, pistol cartridges. And so my very first one was like me holding the cell phone up saying, hey, y'all give me some advice here on pistol cartridges and, you know, pistols for concealed carry, various things like that. Because, you know, really want to get into one Magnum cartridge and reload for that and have lots of projectiles for that, you know. And so I wanted to, if I'm reloading for the Henry Big Boy, I'm also reloading for a pistol that I'll probably carry in the woods and stuff like that when I'm up here. Because in addition to big game hunting, I've got a bird dog. And one of the things about bears is bears will run from 2 dogs. They'll chase 1 dog. And so I don't want to be on the other end of a bear when all I've got is bird shot in my gun. And so I was looking for, you know, concealed carry or a bear type, you know, multi-purpose pistol. And so I just was asking people's advice on that and just ended up having fun making videos. Made a few of them here and there, and somehow or another I connected with Mr. Holster, and Mr. Holster kind of called me out on video one day, and he's like, "Dude, you should make more videos. Why do you only have 3 up?" And so I just started making more videos because Mr. Holster said so.
Oh, that's a pretty good reason right there.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good reason. Mr. Holster's pretty cool, man. I've known him for a long time. I'm the weasel, according to him.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
Yeah, when Mr. Holster speaks, everybody listens except for Jack. So
yeah.
And speaking of Mr. Holster, he's got something going on. Phil, what does Mr. Holster have going on right now?
He's got a 10,000 people that like his channel appreciation giveaway going on. And
it's a lot of half-eaten items.
Yeah, Jack has contributed a lot to it. So if you want an ashtray from a hotel in Reno or a pillowcase from a hotel in Reno, stuff like that. And he does promise to have something else for someone that wins the 10,000 appreciation people that like his channel award. So, but yeah, I put up a quick video on that today because I really appreciate Jack, and he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you missed that video this weekend, it's worth going back to see.
Yeah, definitely.
And you should go there through Phil's video because I'm sure he linked it. So
there you go.
Well, I just linked the channel, so sorry. Yeah, I linked Mr. Holster's channel, but it's easy to find.
Yeah.
Well worth it. Well worth it. We had someone else jump in too. He's been pretty quiet, which is surprising. But that's okay. We're actually kind of happy that he's been quiet. Kyle, what's up, brother?
I didn't do
it. It's all Kyle's fault.
For once, you are right, sir. You did not do it.
Yes, and we were kind of hoping that he wasn't there because the only thing we can see is his bench.
Yeah.
But apparently he is there.
I've got fingers.
So can
I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be on the panel and everything else. I'm sorry, I've got excuse me, I've got a cold, and I just want to say thank you. And I'm here, and I'm just enjoying the show. It's great to be here on the Foreign and Domestic.
Always good to have you, Kyle. Always good, man. Sorry you're feeling a little under the weather. You were not the only one on the panel with a little bit of the congestion issues and whatnot.
So could I talk to Mountain Man for a minute?
Go for it.
So I know you don't know who I am, but this is the first time I've met. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir.
Absolutely.
Couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. Number one, let's go with this cartridge first. Then I want to ask you some questions about your book.
Okay.
Okay. You don't know that I do a 35 Remington load series on my channel. Kyle's helping me out with that, and we both load for 35 Remington.
Yeah.
So this new cartridge, let me, if I can get it straight in my mind, help me out here. It's the bullet diameter is 0.375.
Correct.
And you're running 200 grain bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Factory made, jacketed, or cast, or?
So yeah, right now I'm doing factory jacketed ones. I know some folks are running cast though. I know Frank, one of the guys who was the sort of inventors of the round or whatnot. He's doing a lot of cast stuff.
Cool.
But he's also doing a lot of cast for the purpose of running sub though.
Yeah. That tends to work well.
Yeah.
Okay. So what calibers are out there in the mainstream that would use that diameter projectile?
So I know that there's obviously the 375 H&R. There's actually a couple pistols out there that ran the 375. I know when you go to like Midway USA, like if you go to like the bullet projectile list, and they always have like the amount of projectiles they have in the little parentheses next to the caliber. 375 is definitely one of the ones that's higher up there. There is the 375 Chi-Tac. Has a real long range one, and tend to be the bullet size and the ogive of that one. I don't know whether a lot of the 375 Chi-Tac stuff is going to translate to this, but that's definitely one of the ones that's out there.
Okay. So this is going to run on the AR-10 platform, correct?
The AR-15.
AR-15.
Yeah. So that's where this one differs from, say, the 375 Raptor. There's a 375 Raptor out there, which is basically a 308 that has not been cut. It's been necked open to 375, whereas this one has been cut down to an AR-15 length cartridge. So your cartridge overall length for this is going to be the exact same as what you would run your 223 stuff.
That's cool. So all we need is to build an upper for with a barrel and another bolt carrier group.
You got it. So now with the case width on this, it will barely eke out of your mil spec upper. So it's better to run it on like a big bore style upper. Upper receiver that's been milled out a little bit. And I think in one of my videos I actually take it and stick it in both of my two upper receivers, just kind of show the how like this will fit through your mil spec, but just barely. And you don't want just barely; you want it to fly free.
Yeah.
So I encourage people to go with more of a big bore style upper receiver. The one that I'm running right now is one of the ones that they make over at Maxim Arms. That's a left-hand side charging big bore upper receiver.
Cool. So along that same vein, and I'm doing this 35 Remington series, and I don't know how many of you guys know that the 35 Remington was originally designed for an autoload rifle, the Remington Model 8.
Huh.
And I wonder why somebody hasn't thought to chamber the AR-10 in 35 Remington, because it seems to me that that's a caliber and that's a cartridge that's doing very similar to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's we run 200 grain cast bullets, powder coated, out to I've had some shooting like a little over an inch at 25 yards at 2,100 feet per second.
Hey Jamie, real quick, make a comment on the side chat. There's a few people asking to find your channel, brother.
Okay. And another thing I want to talk to you about is if you can take that idea to some of those guys that are developing this thing, just tell us there's a 110-year-old cartridge out there that's very similar to what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
But, back to your book, Caleb's always been one of my favorite heroes from the Bible.
Yeah.
I always thought he was very underrated. He had the faith to believe that God would do what he said he would do.
Yeah.
So, which leads us to Joshua, his buddy, which was also one of the 12 spies that went in. And those are the only two that gave a positive report, and that's why God used them to do what they did.
Yeah.
So I would like to, maybe your next book, you might want to pick up on Joshua and kind of stress out the fact that Joshua's one flaw in my mind, and that was his failure to reproduce a leader.
Absolutely, yeah. I was actually just talking to somebody about that very same thing today.
So, all right, I gave you two good ideas, man.
I appreciate it. That's a great think tank.
Okay.
Hey, Jamie, I threw a comment in the internal, but Stalker Steve's out there. He's got some 35 brass if you want it.
Oh, man, I need all 35 brass I can get.
All right, I'll shoot him a text message tomorrow. Steve, you're watching, brother. I'll shoot you a message tomorrow, and I'll let you know where to send that brass.
Don't we both need all the brass we can get?
You're going to get half of it, Kyle.
Hey, I discovered a new brass company. It's not far from where I live. It's called Blue Ridge Brass. It's a guy sells a bunch of like once fired stuff. It's usually either LEO or military stuff. But a real neat guy. Like he real into like the Dave Ramsey thing of not getting in debt. And so he's trying to build his business by like, I've got the money to invest in my business now. We'll invest. We'll make more money. Then we'll invest more. And so he's building a brass company from the ground up. But young guy, real nice, getting a brass company started. So Blue Ridge Brass. I think he's based out of Roanoke, Virginia. So
now, cool. Modern Mountain Man, when you first got started, you did something kind of gutsy, and at the time, I was.
We lost Alan.
now I have to guess what gutsy thing I did.
That's a clip.
I don't know why that happens, but it does occasionally. You decided to do a video every day for what was it, 30 days?
30 days, yeah. And yeah, so that was part of that challenge from Mr. Holster. Mr. Holster was like, hey, you need to get your proficiency up, and so I challenged myself to make one video every day for 30 days. And so that did a couple things for me. One, it it got me better at editing because I had to like hurry and edit a bunch of videos and get them uploaded and stuff like that. It also really, helped drive the algorithm. And so like I kind of ended that 30-day challenge with that 50 Beowulf build. And I kind of think it was that process of 30 days of uploading is partially why that video became, the #1 trending video for 50 Beowulf.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of fun stuff came out of that.
Yeah.
I was concerned that you were going to burn yourself out early. Yeah. And luckily that didn't happen. But if I could request of you to if you when you get the time to jump back on the Man Stuff Mondays.
Yep. Absolutely. I'll definitely do that. One of the things I've learned about the Man Stuff Mondays is like, how when you upload videos, you've got some videos that are like the videos that your subscribers get into. And you've got like the videos that like people that aren't subscribers, but watch your stuff and drive your views up. The Man Stuff Mondays are definitely like my subscribers like that the best. Like those videos might get like 70 views. And then like I put something out about a shotgun that gets like a couple thousand. But yeah, so I definitely, when I do the Man Stuff Monday videos, it's for you guys who sub because y'all like it.
Yeah, it's a good part of the channel, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a staple of what you do, man.
Yeah, man. Very cool.
We got some more people jumping in the side chat. Alan, if you want to jump in and check who's out there.
Well, I see that the Basement Buddy has jumped in. Robin Jones has also jumped in. I'm not sure if there's any correlation there or not, but probably not. The actual participations list isn't actually showing much of anything different. Stealth Hunter's still out there active. Vosh, Bearded CB82's been out there for a little bit, making fun of me because I went dark. The Reloading Press, Vanessa Kitty's been tearing it up out there, and always appreciated to see her. Yeah, for some reason, the participations list is not keeping up. Stalker Steve has been out there. The Battle Bean himself has been out there. Mario Mosen. We've had quite a few other people jump into the side chat. Just for some reason, I don't know. Maybe YouTube is messing with me.
It's messing with all us, I'm sure. If there's anyone up in the side chat that wants a link to jump in and ask some questions, we do have a couple spots open. So if you want a link, let me know. If I have your email, I will send you a link. You can jump in. Obviously, keep it on the level. If you don't keep it on the level, we will kick you out of here. You know how we roll over here. So we do have a special guest, though, so we got to keep it kind of on a different level.
Well, to an extent. I mean, I have frequently seen Modern Mountain Man in the side chat here on Foreign to Domestic.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he listens with headphones so that his adorable wife doesn't throw things at him or not.
I definitely have the earbuds then.
Yeah, we don't need a baby learning new stuff either.
No, and that there's a lot of words we could throw out there that a lot of people probably shouldn't hear. And that's why that's why I'm like, if you want a link, let me know you want a link. I'll send you a link. Otherwise, we'll keep it as it is. But we do have a couple spots open if you want a link.
Yeah, HNX Media is saying a lot of the reloading stuff is over my head. And me as well. And I've actually learned quite a bit from the guys here on the panel and watching and listening to a lot of the chats about reloading. I am afraid to start down that road. I am so afraid to start down that road because I do have other bills that I need to pay. And I'm not sure if I start that quest, if I will ever be done acquiring this, that, or the other thing.
The thing with reloading is number one, no, you'll never be done. But here's the thing when it comes to reloading. depending how you do it starting out is going to make the biggest difference. So like Chico Wise, he jumped full bore. He went straight up progressive. You know, he got a deal because he's Ammo Mafia. That's what he does. Myself, I went with the intermediate level of it and started there. And you just kind of go from there. But there's so many avenues out there, and Nathan threw it out there. But we do have the Reloaders Network, and yes, I am sporting the shirt tonight. But the Reloaders Network is an awesome place to go check it out. There's so many people out there that will help you. I cannot tell you how many packages I've gotten in the mail from people on here and up the side chat that literally just said, "Hey, what do you need?" And it's ridiculous. I didn't ask for it; they just send it.
Yeah, it's good people, helpful people, and the Friday night chat is always informative. And I'm like Alan. I want to get into it, but I'm afraid of what it will come and how much of my money it will take, and I don't have that right now.
See, I was afraid in the beginning. I really was. And C-Max, you guys all know C-Max. C-Max was the biggest influence and the hugest help for me to get into reloading. I told him I didn't have enough space. I told him I didn't have enough money and so on and so forth. And he's like, "Dude, how much room you got?" I showed him. He's like, "You got plenty of space. How much money you got?" I told him. He's like, "You got money enough to do this." And it's just like, okay. And that's kind of where he went from. And I bought a basic press. I bought a kit. I did this. And I kept talking to him back and forth. And we talked on the phone. We talked on the email and so on and so forth. It doesn't take that much. It really doesn't. And that's why I made that one video of how much room do you really need to reload. You really don't need that much. It's taking the jump and saying, yes, I'm going to do this. That's the biggest thing, is taking the jump. You can say you're scared. You can say you don't have the money. You don't want to delve into how much money you're going to spend and so on and so forth. But when it really comes down to it, it's taking the jump. You have to take the jump. If you shoot anywhere from 500 plus rounds a month, you need to reload. Period. You have to reload.
Yeah, that's one of the main driving forces for me is I go through a lot of rounds. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I just wish that I could get the deals like Chico. I mean, the stuff that the guy comes up with is just absolutely ridiculous. And you know, if I was doing that, I would probably end up trying to work less at work because I would be busy going like this in front of a blue machine.
You do what you got to do. Honestly, that's it. There's a few people out there in the side chat making comments. CB is out there. Still has pics from C-Max. Dude, I have every email he ever sent me, every picture he ever sent me, every text he ever sent me. And it's ridiculous, but it's serious because that's how I got this far. He literally helped me get to the point I'm at. And it doesn't take much. You take one thing and that person helps you get to where you're at, and then you move from there and you reach out to other people. You know, I didn't just get there because of C-Max. I got there because of some people I know out here. They were happy to come out. They helped me to come to the place. They helped me set the dies properly and get going. And then once I got going, I realized how to set the dies myself and so on and so forth. And then I can back it off, do what I got to do to adjust for this caliber and so on and so forth. It's a give and take, but you have to reach out. You have to be willing to jump in and just freaking do it. I mean, if you shoot 500 rounds or more a month, you better be reloading. And if you ain't, get to it.
Let me ask a question about just sort of reloading culture. Like, so I've pretty much with all the reloading I've done right here in the basement all by myself, kind of thing. Except for my son Elijah has started jumping in with me. But I wonder, like, so I'm single staging it still. If someone else has like a progressive, are people generally chill enough that, like, if I bring my projectiles and my powder, my stuff over, or will people work together and say, hey, come use my progressive, just use your stuff? Or is it just so, like, we're so particular because we finally got our stuff dialed in, you can't get on my stuff?
No, see, for me, I've never had an issue with anyone. If anyone, I mean, for example, in my previous job, right before I jumped into this new job, I literally had someone, he fell down with cancer, and couldn't reload anymore. And he was reloading for himself and for a friend. And I'm like, dude, give me your brass, give me your powder, give me your bullets, whatever you want, I'll make it for you. Just tell me what you want, tell me your load data, and I'll make it happen. And that's, for me, at least for me, and for everyone that I've talked to in the community that I know, they're willing to help someone out. And that's the way to do it. Like, literally, I went to this guy and I was like, hey, man, here's my phone number. You know, if you need this, let me know. Give me your brass, give me your bullets, give me your powder. I'll reload it for you. Because he literally couldn't raise his arm above. Wow. He couldn't raise his arm at all.
Yeah.
You know, he had cancer in his face, all the way down his cheek, his shoulder. He literally couldn't move his arm. And I'm like, man, if you need me to reload, I'll reload for you. You know, to me, here
they are.
We do what we got to do to help everyone else out, and we crank those rounds out.
Yeah.
But no, if I can kind of hone in on that too for Modern Mountain Man, you know what? I would love if I've been trying to get some of my buddies who shoot like I do, who's close to me, that shoot a lot of volume that I do. Like, hey man, you need to get into reloading, and just like I was telling them, hey, the cheapest way you can do is get a single stage press. But you know what? If you wanted to buy your stuff and bring it over and use my press, I'm cool with that, because if someone sees that, they're like, man. Because, for instance, when I got into reloading, I was like, I should have been doing this a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking online right now, especially if you load 45 ACP. That's what I loaded last night. Finna get ready to load some. Academy, 33 cents per round. That's $65 for 200 rounds. I'll probably do 1,000 rounds for $65.
Wow.
And I'm reloading it.
Yeah.
So, and everywhere is different depending on, you know, the primers you're getting, the powder you're getting, if you're getting your own brass, your projectiles. But it's definitely, I feel like if you knew somebody with a progressive press, they probably, more than likely I would.
Yeah.
I'd be like, come on over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I mean, I don't even have a progressive press. I'm not on a single stage. You know, I'm in the middle. But you know, I can still knock out 200-300 rounds in an hour, easy.
Yeah.
So it's, for me,
just learning it. Yeah, is the
once you get it set to where you want it, you can just keep cranking that handle and rock it out.
Yeah.
That's it. And the biggest thing is understand how to set it, where to set it at. And that's really it. And for me, when I first started, same thing. I was kind of like, holy shit, I don't want to, you know, what am I doing here? I don't want to blow up my gun. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But you reach out to people. People are happy to help. They come over. They help you set the dies and so on and so forth. And then you go from there. You know, there's a lot of people in this community, and not just here on YouTube, but out there in your general community. If you ask them, they will help you.
Yeah.
I started out, I bought a Lee classic cast turret press, and that's what I'm still using. But I did add one of the little cheap Lee C presses. So I've got a single stage and then the turret. The turret, with the auto indexing, you can make it into like a semi-progressive where 4 pulls and you got a finished cartridge.
Yeah.
Scotsman has that same press. Kyle's got a couple of them, and yeah, you need to go check out the Reloaders Network, man, and get on Slack. We'd love to have you over there, and people are so generous and so willing to share the information that's required that it's not even funny.
Yeah, awesome.
I got one question for the Scotsman. How's that Lyman turret press working out for you, brother?
It's other than the priming system, I'm happy with it. Honestly, it's a solid press. I hate the priming system. It is just ridiculous. Lyman was nice enough. I contacted them and said, hey, you know what? I was working with the primer tube and trying to crank the primers in and everything else, and it broke right off the rip, and they sent me a brand new one, but I really don't like the priming system. To me, the primer tubes themselves are just really weak. Because it's one of those kind of push downs. You got to push, and get so many in there,
right.
And then stick it down the tube. But it's very, very weak. And it literally, the first time I used it, I got to like number 4 or 5, and the thing flattened out on me. And that's when I called Lyman. It was like, hey, literally, I got 5 primers in here, and the thing flattened out.
I think that's universal on a lot of presses. People tend to not like the priming system. I know I don't much care for the safety prime that goes on the turret press.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either. I will say this. With the Lyman, for example, I would rather hand prime and then go from there, because what I intend to use it for is strictly for rifle anyway. Right. So I'm okay with hand priming and then going back to the press itself and then doing the rest of the stuff on the press. Because literally that's what I want it for. I bought it for rifle strictly. That's what I bought it for. So I can set it up for my 308 and my 6.5 Creedmoor, or my 223 and my 6.5 Creedmoor, and have it set and good to go.
I prefer to hand prime. I use that Frankfurt Arsenal hand primer. It works good, lasts a long time, not real expensive. That's what you're looking for.
Yep. I have that in my cart on Amazon, and I actually have it in a couple places, and just waiting for it to hit the sell mark. I play the game, and I'm good at this. You got to play the game. Amazon's really, really funny. Like, you can let it sit there for a month or 2 months, and then next minute you know it would drop like $20. eBay is the same way. Same thing. You can let it sit there and boom, it drops $20 in a month. So you gotta watch. You gotta log in periodically and just keep paying attention, because when it drops, that's when you buy it.
Good system. Scott, you look like you got something on your mind, brother.
I'm just looking at my battery creeping down on this, so I'm going to probably have to jump out of here in a minute. I'm at that below 10%, hitting 5, where it drops like every 5 seconds. So
the red zone, the
red zone, and it keeps flashing my low battery sign up here. So.
Well, but before you jump out, man, before you disappear, before you die on us, you got anything you want to say? Anything you want to plug?
Not really. I'm just kind of squeezing things in when I can, seeing what happens. Right now, it's going to be crazy between now and the first of the year for me, between work and just the family stuff and all the traveling back and forth to here and to Alabama and all over the place. But I know I've got some travel companions to help get me through some of that. Again, I'll plug the Reloaders Network and the Georgia Connection and all that stuff for Fridays. If y'all haven't seen that chat, check it out. You'll get a lot of good information and some entertainment. They're good guys, really good guys. My Georgia brothers and their cohorts are all good. Of course, the Scotsman's in on that. And if you haven't checked them out, check them out. And you can get in on the Reloaders Network, and you'll get reminders of when anybody on there posts anything on YouTube. It's pretty cool. I get the emails so that I can check them out during the day when I miss them. So that's pretty much it for me. I'm here for a little work here tomorrow and go back either tomorrow night or Tuesday morning to Nashville, and then back up here next weekend. So I'll see y'all here again next weekend, hopefully.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Y'all have a good one.
Yep. Thanks a lot for coming inside. Always great to have you.
Yeah, we'll talk
inside.
Thanks, Alan. See you.
Thanks for checking in, Scott. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, Scott.
Yeah, y'all too. See you, Phil.
I would just thank him not to say that name in the name of that state in my presence for at least a couple of more days.
I was pulling for your Bulldogs.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
All right. So before he goes green, black, and stripy and everything else, we have Josh Benoit.
Am I on here or is it all messed up again?
No, you're good for right now. So before you go black, green, and stripy, go ahead and speak.
Oh, what am I supposed to say? What are we talking about? I had to get off my phone to get on here. So what were we talking about?
We're talking about you.
We were talking about creating a fundraiser to get you internet that doesn't suck completely.
You'll have to move me out of this freaking what was Corpus described as an underdeveloped Cuba, I believe is what it was described as.
Is that why you're wearing the no sleeve shirt? Is that what's
Hey, no, this is a pro Second Amendment shirt, so stand up for your 2A rights.
Is that why you're sitting down?
I'm sitting down because yeah.
Well, and Scotsman, you got to be real careful about talking about shirts with no sleeves. We've experienced that before here on Foreign to Domestic.
Yeah.
Okay, before
you look like a fucking hobo.
Into it, let me just go ahead and say good night to everybody. It's 11 o'clock here in Georgia, and I have to go to bed. I want to say thank you to the Scotsman, Alan, everybody for having me on here. I've just cut up with everybody, and that's cool. But I'm going to bed. It's late. I've got the kids where they need to be, and yada yada yada. And Scotsman, go ahead, give me the cut eye.
No, Kyle, we appreciate you. Thanks for showing up, brother. Before you disappear, though, I know you have one of these things that myself, Jamie, and many others are working on trying to get people to send us so we can blow up with 12 pounds of tannerite.
I don't have one. I'm waiting on them to show up so I can just blow them up.
You don't have one? Oh, damn it. Jamie, you got yours handy? I don't have mine handy.
You mean this?
I mean that, exactly that. So, guys, listen to Jamie very, very carefully, because if you want one heck of a video, and I mean one heck of a video, and we might even do this live. We will be using 12 pounds plus of tannerite. Go ahead, Jimmy.
If we can get 12 of these. I'm not going to blow up one of these with 12 pounds of tannerite. So, Eagle Eye Shooting's been having trouble with his auto drum powder measure, so we would take that too. But this is the Lee safety scale. And
Jamie, I'll send 12 of them straight to Mars.
And these come in your kits, and they're functional and they're accurate. But man, they're just a pain to use. And part of it is this little slide to tell you exactly what the weight is that you're weighing. You have to have it. You have to have 3 of the white lines showing in the windows. Somebody said that's called a veneer. And it's aggravating as a day is long. And when I first started reloading, I bought the Lee kit, and this came in the kit. And they advertise that it's all you need to reload. Well, yeah, it's all you need, but we're going to find better and easier. So if we can get 12 of these, we're going to use 12 pounds of Tannerite, and we're going to blow these suckers sky high. Not that we don't like and appreciate Lee stuff, because it's the best value out there in reloading. And to address something that some of the people have been talking about, these Lee progressive, these Lee cast turret presses are very good presses to reload pistol and rifle on. But the safety prime is not real great.
That's the only issue I have with Lee is that damn safety prime and the actual priming system they have too, where you would the push thing and the drop the primer in. That thing is a pain in the ass.
It is, but they've reworked it. They've came out with the Generation 3.
Yeah, they came out with a Generation 3. Unfortunately, I still don't have one of those. I have the old one, and the old one sucks. But the actual Lee press itself works really, really good. The scale, just like Jamie said, for the powder measure, is just a huge pain in the butt. It really is. It's accurate, but you're literally sitting there for 5 to 10 minutes trying to get exactly where you need to be to get that powder measure right. And
brothers and sisters all across the Reloading Network or anything else, me and Mr. Ducky are going to bed. I'm going to cuddle him up. Tomorrow's going to be a Monday. I already know it.
Oh, yeah.
So, everybody, the whole panel, it was great to get to say hello. Everybody in the side chat, it was fun cutting up with you. I got to go to bed. Okay?
Kyle, before you go, what shirt are you wearing?
I'm wearing the Mr. Holster shirt.
There you go. Very, very, very fitting, man. Very fitting.
Nice.
I can't believe you're going to bed already, though, because like literally, I gotta get up early too, and you're literally gonna pussy out.
No, I'm not pushing out. I just realized that I have to be at work at 7 o'clock in the morning.
I gotta be at work at 6 in the morning, so screw you. But whatever. Thanks, man.
Well, I guess I'm fatter than you and shorter and need more fucking sleep. How about that?
All right. With that being said, Kyle, thank you, and bye.
I love you guys. See you later.
Good night.
Have a great night, Kyle.
But as we were saying before we were so rudely interrupted, if you send us one of those scales to blow up, we're giving this one away, and we'll find some more stuff to go in with. This is the Frankford Arsenal DS750 digital scale, which will actually work without you making you pull your hair out.
Yeah,
trying to reload.
And trust me, there'll be a lot more going in with that scale. Jamie was on a chat a while back and was crying because of the old scale, and I sent him that scale. He's like, I already got one of these. I'm like, all right, let's blow that fucker up. Let's get something else. Let's do it. So we came up with the whole plan of let's get at least 12, and we'll use 12 pounds of Tannerite. Now, if we can get more than 12, I will donate another pound per everyone donated. So it'll be more than 12 pounds of Tannerite.
Nice.
We will make it one big explosion and make it happen.
We're going to make a big hole in the ground, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're going to do it dirty south, straight up and dirty.
Speaking of a big hole in the ground and dirty, a while ago, I was doing an entertaining little series on my channel called The Battle of the Beards. And the last candidates that were going to be on the Battle of the Beards, and I never got all the information from both those candidates, happened to be on the panel this evening. That would be one Mr. Phil M. Rivers and one Modern Mountain Man. So I got to put it to you, gentlemen. I got to find out if I'm going to make another Battle of the Beards at some point.
I say, and before anyone else speaks, I say we do it right now and do it live.
Well, I got to tell you, since last year, mine is definitely grayer.
No, I'm gonna go ahead, and if both parties are okay, we'll do it live. Are both parties okay with doing it live?
I'm cool with that.
Okay, so I'm gonna start, if that's okay, Alan. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with Phil. So Phil and Alan, if you would go ahead before I start. What are the 3 different categories we're going through here?
Okay, well, if we're going to go with 3 categories, the 3 categories that we're going to go with is going to be shape, density, and color.
Oh, mine's got a lot of color.
All right, so I'm going to start with Phil, and I'm going to start with color. So if we're going to go with color, I'm going to have to say that Phil wins with color, and here's why. Phil has the distinguished, and bear this in mind, and this, I'm using this word very carefully, the distinguished look.
Thank you.
It is very, very distinguished because it has multiple colors, but it's shaped right, and it has that color just blends exactly how you want it to blend. So it is a distinguished look. So we'll go there with color. What was the other 2?
Shape and density.
All right, so shape, I'm going to have to give that one again to Phil. He has the shape. He's got that going pretty good. Density, however, I'm going to have to go with Modern Mountain Man and give density to Modern Mountain Man. Modern Mountain Man definitely has a density going on. Nothing like myself, but he definitely has a lot of density compared to the Phil. So with that being said, we'll jump over to Josh, and Josh can put his 2 cents in.
I don't know his facial pubes. What do you want me to say?
Well, we got 3 categories, and you can choose an individual for each individual category. The categories are shape, density, and color. And it's between Modern Mountain Man and Phil M. Rivers. So, in the category of shape, who would be your pick and why?
I pick me because it's just like I got that perfect edge and everything.
Hold on. Are we gonna ban Josh? Josh, behave yourself.
Okay.
Play by the rules, or we're gonna take our ball and go home.
Okay, so okay, what was the first one?
The first category is going to be shape.
Shape. I'll go with Mountain Man because he has it. Because the way he has it tapered, and then it comes out thicker right there. Just are you talking about the way it's manicured shaped? Yeah, I'll go with Mountain Man for that one.
Okay, the next category would be density.
Density. I have to say Phil on that one because it's thick all over. Yeah, I have to go with Phil on that one because it looks like he's thicker even up on the cheeks and everything. It's denser, like all the way through. It's fuller.
And the final category would be color.
Color. I don't know. I have to call that a tie because I don't even know what you mean by color.
So when it comes to color, for example, Phil has some white, ginger, gray, and every other color in the world you can think of in his beard versus Modern Mountain Man, who's one color. So you have to decide.
Okay, I got it.
Over here.
you got to get up close though.
Yeah, with just a touch
of Just for Men. I would give it to Phil, but I'm gonna have to give it to Mountain Man.
There you go. All right, so we'll go on to Jamie. Jamie, your first one.
Okay, so we got a tie, 1-1. Okay, Phil, I'm sorry, brother. Your beard is too much like mine. So it don't impress me much. Mountain Man's that youthful manicured look. I gotta give it to him on all three except for color. And I'd give Phil the edge on color. But I want to say one thing about my beard. I generally keep mine down to a number 2. And for November, I did not trim mine at all for no shave November for to encourage people to ask questions about, and you already got a beard, so they're not going to ask you too many questions, but just to draw attention to the prostate cancer and men folks that we all face it. I would encourage you guys to keep a close keep a close watch on your PSA numbers. Make sure your doctor's checking your PSA numbers. And with that, I would like also recognize honorable mentions to Josh and Chico. Chico is also doing the same thing for No Shave November, and he's got a good thing going. So, and that being said, I'm thinking of not trimming mine anymore. Just letting it go. Get out there like the Scotsman and some of my biker buddies.
Mine's been no shave for 2+ months.
Nice.
And still going, and it's gonna keep going that way.
Yeah.
I'm aiming for like down here. So
there you go.
Well, I am definitely keeping score, and at this point, we do have a leader. But the next judge on the panel is one Mr. Chico Wise. So Chico, between our two candidates here, if you can figure out how to unmute.
Here's the
give shape to.
Hold on, Chico. Before you go, this is the funny thing. You notice, and I think everyone notices this too, is that Modern Mountain Man keeps going like this.
You model
it. So we got shape, density, and color, right?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. So I'd say shape. I had to click back on Phil's. Shape, I would have to give to Phil. Okay, and color, I'm gonna skip around. Color, I have to give to Phil too, because his looks like mine. See, I got some little gray in there, so I gotta, somebody.
We're gonna go ahead and say little gray because it's
a little gray
in there. Little gray, like little gray,
and the last one, Modern Mountain Man, I have to give it to him, man. This is my first time doing a judging on another man's beard, so hey.
I feel you there, bro.
So at this point, I think this was a frivolous effort.
Hold on. We're not done yet.
We have an entire panel. We have an entire panel of bearded gentlemen here. All of us do have experience with facial hair. Not all of us have hair elsewhere.
Well, hold on. We're not done yet. You're the last one. So you have to give your 3 and make the final decision.
Well, and my 3 ultimately, this is entertaining to me because in shape, I currently have 2 for Phil and 2 for Modern Mountain Man. In density, I currently have 1 for Phil and 3 for Modern Mountain Man. In color, I currently have 3 for Phil and 1 for Modern Mountain Man. So we are completely tied up. And so ultimately, I guess my choices are the tiebreakers here.
No pressure.
Now, as you know, I'm a man of distinguished characteristics myself in my beard, and I know Modern Mountain Man has quite a bit distinguished going on himself, but nothing represents the distinguished color, look, and variation that Phil has. So I positively have to give that category to Phil, even though I have used Just for Men to try to get Modern Mountain Man's color. As it goes for the category of shape, now both have a good shape to it. Phil's shape fits his face very, very well. But Modern Mountain Man's makes him look like a Roman soldier. Very, very shaped properly. It's nothing like mine, where it's all uneven and going down into my chest hair. So I'm giving the category of shape to Modern Mountain Man, which leaves the last category of density. Now, I might get argued about this because I often do on these decisions, but I'm going to just cut to the chase. I'm giving the decision to Modern Mountain Man on density, and Modern Mountain Man has become the next Battle of the Beards champion.
Nice.
Congrats, Modern Mountain Man.
Absolutely. And it was a good contest. It was hard fought.
Okay, I got to say something here.
I see that you really pushed through it.
Russian collusion.
Alan, I got to disagree with you, brother. I don't think Modern Mountain Man looks like a Roman soldier. To me, he looks like one of those guys from the turn of the century, either a baseball player or a singer in a barbershop quartet. You know those guys? And Mountain Man, you might want to work on some
on the handlebars a little bit.
That would set it off, man. You'd be the perennial champion.
That'd be awesome.
That was fun.
That'd be awesome.
That was really fun.
Yeah, as much as judging another man's facial hair can be, that was quite entertaining, and it goes in a kind of a short line of Battle of the Beards.
I have to call someone out in the side chat, and this is funny because someone in the side chat is calling you fucking gay.
Oh yeah.
However, he's calling out the Blue Oyster Bar. So I'm sorry, but who is gay?
Yeah. Well, and I got a lot of love for that particular individual. I'm not going to say his name, Peter, but I got a lot of love for him, and he can call me anytime. Hey.
Yep, I love the battle beam, but damn, man, you went straight up full gay. And you know I love you, man. You know I do. But damn, straight up full gay. All right. With that being said, we are about 11:20, so we're almost 2 hours into this. We're going to start going through the room and any plugs, any videos you got coming up, anything you want to throw out there. And we'll start with Chico Wise.
Yeah, guys, thanks for being here. I've seen as high as like 48, I think, which I think that's awesome. So thanks for being here. I have some videos sitting in the queue that I need to upload for my range visit about my new reloading 45 ACP that I was nervous as shit about, but everything turned out good. During this whole live stream, I've been loading too, so loading more 45 ACP. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Reloaders Network, you can check us out. A lot of members on this panel are authors over there, so that's it. Thanks for being here, and I appreciate the link as always, Scotsman and Allen.
Yep, always good to have you, brother. Appreciate you for sure. Jamie, what you got, brother?
I'm working on the Mauser still. I got load 7 of 35 Remington loaded up. I'm hoping to get to the range tomorrow to finish that video up. Got 2 coats of boiled linseed oil on the stock. And Scotsman, I can't wait for you to see it, brother. It's going to look really good. And one question for Phil and Josh Benware. You guys know what Alabama football players get on their SATs?
Oh, I can only imagine.
Tobacco juice.
All right. Well,
again, thanks for having me, Scotsman. Appreciate it.
You got my number, man. Text me.
I will.
We're gonna go in an unorganized fashion, and we're gonna go to Alan next, because I want to end with our special guest tonight. So, Alan, what you got, brother?
Very good, very good, man. I have had an absolute blast. It's an extreme pleasure to have Modern Mountain Man here on Foreign to Domestic tonight. Had a great panel. The people out in the side chat have been absolutely awesome. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you everybody for showing up, and as always, keep the magazines loaded and one in the chamber.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Always appreciative having you here. It's been a pleasure. We've been doing this for quite some time, and I'm proud to call you my brother for sure. So thank you, man. Phil, what you got, man?
Well, I just want to say thanks for having me, and if you can, check out the Mr. Holster video I did. Those that don't know Jack should check out Mr. Holster and find out who Jack is and find out all about him. And Jack's a great character, I got to say that. And I bowed down to Modern Mountain Man. He won fair and square. But I'm going to take a little break from YouTube, so I'll see you sometime next year, maybe. Not sure when, but I'll try and catch some videos here and there, but I probably won't be posting for a while. So till we meet again.
All right. Well, you got my number. Shoot me a message. We'll try to get together sometime soon. But in the meantime, hit me up anytime you need to. Josh, what you got, man?
Well, I'm not too sure yet. I mostly just been messing with my AK a lot, trying to get it adjusted the way I want and everything set up the way I want. So for right now, I just been focusing on that, and not too much on videos. So I just been putting out little stuff here and there, but nothing too much planned that I know of right now. But thanks for having me on. Sorry I was on and off. I'm trying to find the right phone that will actually get signal to where I could stay on the chat without it turning green. But I appreciate y'all having me on, and the side chat was fun as hell too. So
awesome, man. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate you, brother, very much. With that, guys, I appreciate everyone showing up. We've had a lot of people jump in the side chat, and I appreciate you very much, more than you know. It's been an awesome chat. And before we leave, we have the one, the only, the Modern Mountain Man. And you can plug whatever you want before we head out of here, brother.
Absolutely. Well, hey guys, I had so much fun tonight. Been a side chat person, so it's fun to finally be a participant and jump in with you guys. Had a blast. The beard contest was unexpected but fun. But a few videos coming up soon. I'm gonna do a video about the deer that I shot with the Beowulf. I'm gonna do a Jericho video soon. Just kind of give a little bit of the history of the Jericho. I haven't done a funny video in a while, and I actually talked my wife into doing a funny video with me later. So that'll be in the works. And per y'all's request, I'll do some more man stuff Monday. and keep you guys in the loop as far as the book coming out. I actually do have a Facebook group for the book, just for people who want to be like in the launch team to kind of help me let people know when the book comes out. It helps with books. It's kind of like how our YouTube videos have algorithms. Same thing with books. When a book first hits the market, if a lot of them get bought soon, Amazon bumps it up. And so I definitely would appreciate any help y'all want to give as helping us to get that book sold as much as soon as possible, just to kind of get it out there a little bit further. So, but like I said, really enjoyed my time here. Like I said, super excited about this cool new experimental round. Once deer season is over, I'm going to be giving a lot more love to the stalker, playing with it a bunch, and have that tuned up for next deer season. And but other than that, God bless you guys, and go take your mountain.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for showing up. It's been an awesome chat. I'm glad you could be here. You are someone that I think a lot of us here on the panel and in the side chat appreciate very, very much and look up to a lot. So thank you, brother. We appreciate you showing up. With that, guys, take it easy. We are out of here, and thanks for showing up.
Woo!